So today on Quarantine versus Quantum Leaps, we are back to talk about this wonderful book, U Squared by Price Pritchett. So if you've got your copy, which I did advise you all to buy as we go through this series of weekly calls. Hello Leslie, hello Paul, hello, who else have we got? Vanessa, lovely to have you on. So if you've got your book, bring it, and we're going to take off from page 3 today. Now, to do a wee bit of a recap. In last week, we talked all about the fly. We talked about the fly hitting against the window on multiple times, trying the same thing, trying to get a different outcome. And essentially, the reason I picked this book to go through with you is because we are in a changing world. And I am absolutely adamant that this is going to be the best thing that could happen to you if you choose to decide to see it like that. As an entrepreneur, and as I work with other entrepreneurs, what we're seeing in our community certainly is thriving results. I'm seeing some of my clients here. Celine, hello. So what we're seeing is this is the best time to be in personal development, because as we read last week, it says right now, in this moment, you are capable of exponential improvements in your performance. And it says you haven't been reaching your full performance. So far, you haven't even come close. No matter how you wish to measure success, regardless of how you define achievement, you have barely scratched the surface on your personal accomplishments. So that's what we talked about last week. And I love starting there, and I love reading this book with people because, especially this group, you've been following, you're in this group, you're with like-minded people, you're obviously growth orientated, whether you're a client of mine or whether you're not. I think the one common denominator of that we have in this group is we all want success. Whether that is monetary, whether that's in relationships, whether that's health, whether that's spiritual, doesn't matter what it is. What we are all striving for is growth. For any of you that have purchased the Calm and Creative Collection, I hope you've listened to the really good audio I did on the law of increase, which I really went into in depth of how we are all spiritual beings looking for expression and expansion. That is what we want. That is what your heart is seeking. So if you've ever felt this feeling inside, like you know there's more, and then you get all confused, and then you feel guilty, and then your mind goes everywhere, know that how it started, that feeling of growth, is normal, and you want to express it. So what I want to do in these series and on these episodes as we go through quarantine and lockdown, as I'm calling it, I want to go through and open up your mind to realize that this is the time for opportunity, and this is the time that you can start to really scale your growth, which will scale your business, your relationships, your health. So in everything that I teach, yes, I help people multiply their income and start businesses and do all this, but what I teach is human performance, which is the core of where results come from. So on page 3, we're going to explain a wee bit about what quantum leaps are. Maybe you've never even heard of them. I had certainly never heard of this stuff before. And I really see myself as this middle person. If I was to go and speak to very, very wealthy, very affluent people, and I started to speak to them for a little while, I would very quickly realize that they understand this material. I've never met anybody that has real success. I'm not just talking about money, but real success in all areas of their life. They all understand quantum physics. They all understand mental sciences, how the mind works. And I love that, because I really feel like I'm the person to bring this to the normal average Joe blogs round the corner, because that was me. I was living in a world of working very, very hard, trading time for money, doing all of those things, and I could see other people with success, but we also see this huge divide. We think that's all for those people. That must be because they were brought up that way, or they've landed on their feet. Whatever your perception is, doesn't make you any closer to being where you want to be. And there's still a part of you that wants to have more than what you have, and that's okay. So really, I'm taking this text to open up your minds to realizing that there is another world here. There's another we see a physical reality, and that's great, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, and it's fantastic to experience the physical. But what I want to really realize is that there's also a non-physical world. There's an invisible element that creates the reality. So that's the better world. That's the fun world. That's the world that you have access to at any time, because it's in your imagination. You have a tool you can access and go anywhere. So on page 3, well, it's really page 4, I'm going to read it out and then I'm going to go over this passage. If you have it and you've got U Squared by Price Pritchett, you can follow along. It says, quantum leap is a term taken from the vocabulary of the new physics, quantum physics. The science behind such technology... These are 2 big words today. The science behind technological breakthroughs as laser, television, computers, space communication, and nuclear energy. Quantum physics is described as the most powerful science ever conceived by human beings. It requires a major rethinking of such concepts as time and space and how human consciousness operates. Quantum physics also has staggering implications regarding you, your potential, and the power of your mind. So if you're sitting here wondering, why on earth is she rabbiting on about quantum physics? I know we're homeschooling, but that's not on the agenda today. Well, the reason I'm explaining this is not because I'm a total geek, which I am when it comes to this, but this is what it says. It says quantum physics has a staggering implication regarding you and your potential and the power of your mind. So everybody should prick up their ears and go, hold on, that relates to me. That relates to my personal performance and success. Now, you may not relate to that because you might say, well, Kim, it's the first time I've heard of it. I don't really know much about it. I've maybe only been watching you for a wee while. I'm not sure this has a huge impact on my success. And if you're thinking that, which you could be, I would say that's really good. At least you're here, because something has led you here. Something has made you watch play. And this is when I say to people, if you are ever quick to go, don't need that, or, oh, I already know that, or whatever, my advice to you is to always just pause and ask yourself, is that a habit that you have, and could there be something more showing up for you that you haven't already noticed? I say that a lot to people when they come into my events. I say, show me who are all the skeptics in the room. Who's the person that got dragged along by the other person? And they all smile and laugh, and I go, well, I'll tell you what, it's not by accident that you're here. There's no such thing as chance or luck in this world. Luck is a man-made word for when we don't understand the cause to seen effects. So this whole universe operates by laws. One of the laws is law of cause and effect. So for every effect, as in everything you see or every outcome, there's always something that has caused the outcome. Okay? That is just a fundamental science. I'm not making it up. That is what it is. I can't change it. You can't change it. But when you study it and start to realize that if you apply it to your life, then magic happens. So continues on to say, to put it simply, as human beings, we are going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. So if you're going to start to really adapt and change and mold your reality by using the power of your mind, you're going to have to start to rethink things. You're going to have to start to take a different perspective on situations that maybe you have a very, solid, strict thinking around. And it's not everything, but what I do with my clients is I help them identify thinking patterns or habitual patterns of behavior that are leading to results that they don't want. They are the cause, and then the negative results are the effect. So if you're listening to this, what I want you to be thinking about is, what is something in your life that you're not happy with, that you could improve on? It doesn't have to be horrific. It could just be, I think I could do a little bit better there. I think I could do a little bit better in my health. I think I could do a little bit better in what I put into my relationship. I think I could do a little bit better in just how I keep the house tidy in this time of lockdown. It's those little decisions every day that multiply and exercise the muscle in which you make your decisions with. Now, does anybody who's on live know what the mental muscle is that you use to make decisions? Now we'll see who the real geeks are, because we have Emma and Lindsay, our two coaches watching live. Who knows the answer? What is the mental muscle that we use to make decisions? Let's see if we've any smarty pants in the house. I'm not seeing anybody type in. Come on, guys. Nope. 51 people watching, and you don't even know the part of the mind that makes decisions. Somebody saying willpower. Nope. Your mind? Well, it's definitely a part of your mind. Nope, not the will. The will is the ability to focus. Reason. Yes, 10 points to Fanula. Well done, Fanula. You are one of my clients, so I'm very proud of you. Well done. Yes, it's the ability to think. See, now think about this. There's 51 people on here. Loads of you are now typing in, and nearly all of you are wrong, apart from Fergus and Joanne Laverty and, of course, Fanula. You have a mental muscle. It is a part of your higher mental faculties, and it allows you to choose your thoughts and make decisions. So if you didn't know that, then you've got to ask yourself, what else could you possibly not know? And if you don't know what is the thing that's helping you make decisions, well, that's a pretty big one, because you're making decisions every day, and your decisions multiply and create your reality. You decided to wear what you were going to wear today. Even if you haven't got out of your pajamas, you still made that decision. You decided what the paint on the color of the walls is. You decided what type of curtains you've got. Everything is made of decisions, and your decisions are so paramount to the quality of your life. So he says here that we've got to reframe our ideas around the universe and how we fit into it. So for me, when I'm ever studying, when I study, I don't just read books. I take parts of books and then I chunk it down, and I really ask myself, okay, what does this sentence mean to me? How does it relate to my life? It's saying that I have to reframe my ideas. Okay, so what does reframe ideas mean? It means start to look at an idea or a belief or a habit that I've held on to and start to examine it. And I think it was Wayne Dyer that says, the more that you continue to what was it? Maybe somebody knows it. The more you look at something and start to change it, the thing you start to look at starts to change. Something like that. Okay? And that's how we reframe. That's how we start to take a different perspective. Bob always says, put a problem in the middle of a table, Kim, and take a different seat at the table. And look from different people that you respect, people who've got results, people whose opinions you value, and start to look at it through their eyes. And you start to reframe whether it's a problem, whether it's a solution. And then it says, so I need to do that, and then I need to understand the universe, and I need to know how I fit into it. Okay, so what on earth is the universe? Well, if you'd have asked me more than 4 years ago, what is the universe? I would have said, it's the thing in the sky that we're in. There's planets, there's stars, there's space, there's no gravity. That would probably have been my limit of understanding what on earth the universe was. I wouldn't have knew. And if anyone had started talking about the laws of the universe, I would have thought they were talking weird stuff that I shouldn't be taking part in. Because I was brought up that that's, woohoo, and you could be termed as dangerous. But that was ignorance. That was me not understanding something and then ultimately putting it down. That's what we tend to do as human beings. That's what we do in business. Many of you are in network marketing here in this group. How many times have you wanted to spark up a conversation with somebody and they've put it down straight away? They haven't even given you a chance. Or maybe you've given somebody a compliment and they've put it down straight away. When people are ignorant and they don't understand, they put things down before they will do anything else. And if you don't like people doing it to you, my suggestion is don't do it to people. And if you want people to listen to you more, you've got to practice listening to people more. Very easy. I mean, this whole law of the universe stuff is pretty simple when you get your head around it. The difficulty is, are you studying the things you need to study to get your head around it? Okay? So it says, I need to understand the universe and I need to understand how I fit into it. Well, I could talk for hours on this, but the universe, what is it? Well, the universe is this energy that we're floating in. We live in an ocean of motion. And then it says, how do I fit into it? Well, how I fit into it is I'm a spiritual being living in a physical body in this physical reality. So I am a part of it, but I am in a vibration. Okay, vibration is how you feel. It's the energy that you're projecting out to the world. Whatever your energy is that you put out is the energy that's going to come back. Why? Because that is universal law. Okay, there's no other two way about it. There's literally nobody on this that could argue that point with me. Well, you could argue it, but I wouldn't argue back because it's scientific fact. So if you struggle to maybe comprehend this, if you struggle to buy into it, I'm not trying to force you, because you can choose what to think or not to think something, accept or reject, but just open up your mind to it. I mean, it totally changed my life. Totally changed my life. Like that was what inspired my Easter message yesterday. I sat out yesterday in the sun at the back and I did so much gratitude. I was studying, I was meditating, I was in absolute heaven. And it really just filled me with so much energy. And when you do those things, if you're a part of the Calm and Creative Collection, you'll understand you can't be creative until you have got into that serenity state. So that's where I was yesterday. And then I got filled with all this energy of wanting to share with you. And that's how this works. That's how you can start to work less and earn more. Now think about this. How many times have you went on holiday and you've been sunbathing or you've been walking and you have 50 million ideas that you could do like tomorrow? You've so many ideas, they're coming out of your head. You're trying to scrabble for bits of paper. You're so creative when you're on holidays. Why? Because you chilled out. Because you let go of whatever you were doing. And when you sit down, when you relax the mind, when you get into that calm state, creativity is your natural state, so it rises to the top. It's the resistance that we have to let go of. It's the focusing on what we don't want that we have to learn to let go of. Now, the reason I'm saying that, emphasize let go of, is because you might be thinking you have to get. You might be thinking you have to get clients, you have to get more business, you have to get more ideas, you have to do this, you need to do that. And we live in a world where I need to do this and I need to do that, and we never do it fast enough. And then the worst thing is sometimes we don't even do what we say we're going to do, and then we procrastinate. Who has fallen into the procrastination wagon yet? We're 3 weeks into being locked up. Have you actually done all the tidying out of the rooms you said you were going to do? Or do you feel the wheels starting to slow down? I would say there's some people out there that are feeling that. And why? Because we are habitual creatures. But everything we put out always comes back. It is universal law. So how do we fit into it? Well, we fit into the world as in we are spiritual beings. As I've said many times, we live in a physical body. So your body is your physical instrument on this planet. Your body is the polar opposite to your mind. Okay? So I always see it like your body is like a superhero suit. You're not your body. You're the energy in the body. You're the one moving your arms, moving your head, doing all of those things. When you think of it like that, it starts to get fun because you're on this planet to create, to experience. to enjoy, to love, to give. That's what you're here for. You're not here to, work all day, every day. I think it was Emma put up a wee quote yesterday. We work for satisfaction. We earn money through service. A lot of people have got that upside down and they're working for money. And then there's no satisfaction. And there's usually not that much money. Because working is actually the worst way to make money. Now, boom, that could go into a seminar and a half. If you want to know about that, you definitely need, I think it's lesson 4 in the Calm Creative session or collection. But think about this. I'm not going to go into it all in depth, but when I say working is the worst way to make money, and you might go, what? Well, ask yourself, have you been working? And do you have money? Very simple 2 questions. And a lot of people will say no to that. Yeah, I've been working really hard, but I don't have that much money. So something is not quite right here. And it doesn't take a genius to work it out. You don't need to even know quantum physics to realize that there's just something a wee bit off. And there's a huge thing off. And that's because people aren't understanding the universe and how we fit into it. That's the bit that's got missing. That's the bit we were never taught in school. We weren't even taught how to make decisions. You weren't even taught about the mental muscle that you make decisions with. So we grew up asking other people to make the decisions for us. Mom and dad maybe made decisions for you growing up, and then when you became an adult, do you find it hard to make decisions? Potentially. You might be the person that is really good at making decisions. Then I would probably say you're quite a successful person, because people that are successful all make decisions fast and change them slowly, if at all. So it's really important that if you want to quantum leap, if you want to take this opportunity that we have right now, you've got to reframe the ideas, reframe the models in which you've been working. And you've got to really realize that you live in a universe governed by universal laws. And when you understand the laws, you start to understand how you can use them to perform at a higher level. I mean, you're not going to turn into a unicorn and be able to fly, okay? You're still going to live in a house. You're still going to have maybe a business or be in some form of employment. You're still going to be a normal person. I'm a normal person. I have normal people problems. But I have dramatically different results to a lot of other people. And I would have put myself into that category 4.5 years ago. Good government job, pension, average house, average wage, didn't really have goals. That was it. And when you don't know that there's any more, sometimes you can think that it is good. And that's where I don't want any person on this page to fall into. It can always be better. You can always have more. But the key is that you don't do it to get. You don't do it for the have. It's not about having, being, and doing. It's about being, having, and then doing. I can do a whole lot more because I'm already being who I'm supposed to be. Now work that one out. When you are the true essence of you, when you understand you and the universe in which you live in, and you understand the universal laws in which everything is governed by, money. Who's come across the law around money that I put in the Calm and Creative audio section? I did a whole lesson on the law of compensation and how it relates to you and your business and your income. Because there's even a law that governs the amount of money you earn. It's crazy. There's a law that governs how many people come onto your Facebook lives. There is laws that govern everything. Now, the good thing is there isn't a law for every single little thing in the universe. There are a few laws that explain everything. So it's not really even that complicated. Like, I love teaching them. Every week I'm teaching them to my clients, and it's just like light bulbs go off. So it goes on to say what they say a quantum leap is. And this is Price Pritchard. The explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk and going off into unknown territory with no guide to follow. Physicists studying quantum physics note that particles make these jumps without apparent effort and without covering all the bases between the start and the ending points. So what's going on here? How does this happen? And is it possible for an individual to do something very similar in your personal performance? And the answer is yes. What quantum physics talks about is energy and matter, and how everything moves, how the clouds are, like you today go out into your back garden. I was all morning trying to tell what clouds to go away because I was getting the sun. But you what? Like, what's causing the clouds to move? What's causing the clouds to be white one minute, black the next minute? What causes this water stuff to fall from it? Like, it's all operated by the universe. What's causing your heart to keep pumping? What's making the plants grow? I planted loads of little seeds the other day. I've now become quite a gardener, but they're child kits. They even in the instructions say get an adult to help you. I don't know where Lindsay was, but I managed to get help with Roxy and Rex. And as I plant those seeds in these little pots, they're just little seeds. Some of them were so tiny, I was like, where is the seed? And you've got to ask yourself, how on earth does this little speck of nothing turn into this beautiful flower that provides, stuff for the animals, and the bees are around it, and there's beautiful smells and the color? Like, how does it go from a seed into a flower? Now, who knows that universal law? We could do a pop quiz on Saturday nights for the real geeks. Well, it's called the transmutation of perpetual energy. That's a big one, but it's very simple. It's energy moving into form, through form, back out of form. So an example, you put a seed in the ground. The seed in the ground attracts, through the law of cause and effect, the energy that it needs to make that into whatever that seed is. There's a pattern in the nucleus of the seed. If I planted a carrot seed, I'm going to get carrots. I'm not going to get a turnip. Why? Because the pattern in the seed, in the cells in the seed, has a carrot blueprint, okay? And it attracts all the nutrients that a carrot needs in the right amount and everything. That's all worked out in the nucleus of the seed. And then it grows, and then it pulls in water, and it gets nutrients, then it breaks up through the soil, it gets it. So everything, it's attracting everything that it needs to grow. And it moves from being a seed, and then it shoots up, and we have this beautiful flower or plant or whatever it is that you're creating. Now that has happened because of these universal laws. And its pattern was a carrot. So we got a carrot at the end. You have a mental blueprint. You have a little coding system in you that says what you're going to turn out. But you get to choose. Do you want to be a carrot, or would you rather be a flower? The plants, the animals do not get to choose. Why? Because only us human beings, which are spiritual beings, have higher mental faculties. We have the ability to use our mind. This is what it says. It says we have got to look at this because it's the power of the mind. That's why this is so exciting to me. You can be anything you want to be. Isn't that incredible? You can be a scientist, you could be an astronaut, you could be a doctor, you could be an entrepreneur, you could be anything that you want to be. You just have to decide. Like, when you really think of it like that, it's so awesome. And you don't have to just be one thing. Like, I was a nurse for 9.5 years, but now I'm not a nurse. Will I always do this? Absolutely, I'll be doing this till you get me in the coffin. But I will do so many different versions of this. Why? Because I'm in control. I am a co-creator with my team, with my clients. We're all growing and expanding together. And you will expand more rapidly the more energy that is given. Now go back to the plant. If I water the plant, if the plant gets sun, it will grow into whatever it's supposed to be. If I take away the energy, if I take away the water and I take away the sun, the plant doesn't grow. Why? Because when you take energy off anything, it dies. Now that's a really good lesson, and you could use that for so many things. If you take energy off something, it dies from lack of nourishment. Okay? If you don't believe me, use it with your plants. You can prove it. How many people have we just moved into a brand new house, and I can see this little patch on the grass that obviously a builder has put a tub on, and it's left this wee brown patch. Now, why has that happened? Because there was no sunlight on it. Everything needs energy to grow. Now, if you take the energy off it, it dies. Right now, if you have a problem, right now, if you are living in lack and limitation, take the energy off it, because it will stop getting worse for you. If you keep focusing on the negative, you're going to attract more of it. So when you start to understand, and hopefully as we go through all of these lessons, like that was just 2 paragraphs that I chunked down to teach you today. And that's why when you hear me say study, that's why it's so vitally important, because you don't just read a book. You read a book, you read a book, you read a book, you digest the book, you read it, and you take a paragraph of it, and you might chew over that paragraph for a couple of days. I mean, I'm personally working on one sentence at the moment, and it's a sentence that I've been just rehearsing in my head for the last week. And the interesting thing is it keeps coming up. And this one sentence keeps coming up in situations, in books that I'm reading. Clients have been talking about it, and I'm going, that's really interesting. That keeps popping up because I know I'm being led. My intuition is kind of like going, do. Keep following that, keep following it. And I don't follow it like a dog with a bone. When you really are a master, and I'm nowhere near mastery, but I'm getting better. When you start to really understand how to control this potential energy that's coming through your mind, you can start to be free with it, be light with it. You don't have to incessantly go after. You just know with unwavering faith, I can feel something. I'm picking up something. It's an intuition. We all pick up things. Me and Lindsay were reading this morning, and we were reading, has anyone read Conversations with God? Most amazing books on the planet. We read them a few times, but we're on the Awakened Species book this morning. And Neil was talking about something that I've mentioned before in seminars. If you don't think you can read vibration, which is feeling, which is energy, you might think, I don't know how to do that. You do. You do it every day. And one of the examples that we read about this morning was, how many times have you been going for a night out or something, and you have pulled, sorry guys, maybe you can think about your suits or something, but whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you were, how many times have you like tried something on and then you went, no, it's not appropriate, or it's not right, no, I'm going to go for this, and you try on things and you change. What are you doing? You're sifting and selecting due to how you feel. That is how we're going through life. It's what you do when you go to the supermarket. There's loads of different brands and options for baked beans, but you'll choose what brand or option that you're going to go for. When you go to the cinema and you get a pick a mix, you get to select what you want. That is like life. You're selecting what you want right now. But are you doing it from the inside out, or are you doing it from the outside in? Do you go into the, I would never let Lindsay tell me what to get in a pick a mix. It's the only thing that we do not share, because she just has not got a good taste when it comes to pick a mix. I'm all about the jellies and the fizzy stuff. Lindsay's about the chocolate and like other stuff that I wouldn't even speak about. So I wouldn't share that, because the reality I want is to enjoy my pick a mix. So when you go for a pick a mix, do you let somebody choose yours? I doubt it. So why do we let people choose what we are picking and not picking in life? Where you work, what you study. There's so many things that you're allowing other people to decide for you, and it's your life. So I could go off on a rant, as you can well see. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you've enjoyed today's study session. That is why I'm doing this, because it's not just about reading a couple of paragraphs. It's about really going to a deeper meaning with it. And that's what I love to do. And since you love to listen, I'm glad. And that's what it looks like to study. And this is light, guys. This is super light. If you are very interested in going to a much deeper level and getting into the study, then please reach out. You would absolutely love my 6-month coaching program. It is life-changing. It's the very program that changed my life. So that's why I believe it with every cell of my body. But have a wonderful Easter Monday, whatever you get up to. Stay at home, stay safe, maybe get the barbecue out. And I will be back then again next week. We've changed the coaching calls up this week a little bit in the sense of, I think Lindsay's going on Wednesday, and we're going to have Emma on Friday. So you will have Coach's Corner this week. Please use that. Put in questions. When we put up the little post, put in your questions. The girls would love to help you. I love to help you. And that is what we've created in this time where the world is changing. We want this group, Dynamite Effect, to be a place that people can come and ask questions and just find that little time in the day where they can just seek guidance from within instead of going from without. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be back very soon. Bye.